Hi there. This is the third lesson from our book, What Are You by Amelia Shanklin, our third of 6. And these two chapters, entitled The Real and the Fictitious and Life Pays, 2 chapters here. And the real and fictitious, we've done a little bit of work on. One of our Sunday talks was in relationship to this, but we called it the fake news. You see, because there's the real part of us that never changes. No matter what we do, say, or are, it doesn't change. And then there's the fictitious side of us, the side of us that tells us things that are not true. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not smart enough. All that stuff. And that's fictitious or fake news, which people tend to understand what that is in our current state of affairs. So the fictitious mind, I like to call, is a rabbit hole. We go down that rabbit hole and do the darndest things, all for the sake of misinformation. Death is a misunderstanding of our relationship with God. God does not want us to die. He wants us to have an immortal being, transparent. Wow, huh? You know, when you can connect with God in such a way that you have a transfiguration experience. Wow. How cool is that? Who doesn't envision that? I do. I look forward to it. I'd like it to happen when I'm conscious and not in an unconscious state. You see, because when we can get a handle on what's real about us and very clearly distinguish between what's real and what is fake news, fictitious information about us, the process of connecting more with God is catapulted. Because then we can decipher when we're doing things that we've just realized that we're operating on fake news. You see, it's deeply embedded in us to die. You pay taxes and you die. How many of us heard that? Not true. It's fictitious news. Wow, huh? You know, and I can remember really getting a handle on the fake and the real when cancer from smoking cigarettes was so prevalent in the 70s and 80s, and they put the Surgeon General's notice on the pack of cigarettes. This is dangerous to your life, could cause to have cancer. What I realized is that not everybody gets cancer when they smoke. Some do, and that's tragic, but some don't. So when I realized that if one does and one doesn't, then it's not real. It's fake news. It was interesting for me. You know, and I went to Israel, and I did not connect with the soil and had memories. A lot of my traveling companions did. They felt really connected to Jerusalem and all of that stuff. But there was one place I was very, very much in tune that something happened in my soul on the Mount of Transfiguration. Jesus is with 3 of his disciples, and he's so connected with God that he has a transformational experience. His outer body form dissipates, and a spiritual force takes over. I thought, wow. Now, if any of you have gone there, it is a tumultuous ride up to this mountain. And the only way up there is with a cabbie. And the only way that cabbie makes money is the more people he takes up and he takes down. So he's doing it rather quickly. And I'm looking and I'm seeing the side of this mountain as we climb up. Holy moly. If you don't have a transformational experience just from that alone. So I get to the top and I feel an energy field. I feel a connection to this spot. This is not the first time I've ever been here. I knew it, no doubt. And I lingered. I was the last ride down kind of thing. I didn't want to leave. I felt a magnetic force within me. And I thought, wow, I got nothing at the tomb of where Jesus supposedly rose from the dead. I got nothing from the site of Calvary. But the transfiguration, boy, that impacted me. That was real, right? So I learned that this notion of Jesus walking this earth was real. It didn't matter to me what others thought. It didn't matter to me even if it's true or not true. What I knew, it was true for me. And in the chapter Life Pays, that truth becomes our motivator, becomes our push from inside to do more and be more. From our previous chapter, what are you compared to who are you? The what are you is very real, and it's consistently in every one of us. The same value, all of it. You are a child of God. And life pays by our information about what we think God looks like. And it's based on fictitious information. So if I, Monica Driscoll, am made in the image and likeness of God, this is how I view God with its imperfections. So we work on these imperfections without beating ourselves up, without taking it out on somebody else. We do the necessary work with which to find our way closer to a relationship with God. You see, because what we pay attention to grows. And what are you growing in your consciousness? And is it something you want to fertilize? Is it something you want to, water and envision it coming to life? If not, then be off with you. Be gone. Let that notion go away. Our affirmations and denials are important because we are so bombarded in our subconscious mind with all the erroneous information about us. And we have to find a way to stop listening to that erroneous information. We have to allow ourselves to recognize that the God within is who we want to be our guidepost. Not everyone around us, not the fake news. The news that tells us that, well, okay, you're 80 years old. Of course you've got arthritis in your knees. Oh, no, don't go there. I want to share with you something that Amelia Shanklin wrote, and it's on my page 82 in the chapter Life Pays. And it's the first full paragraph. You cannot have a spiritualized, redeemed body without first spiritualizing, redeeming your consciousness. You have to change your consciousness. You see, remember, there's 3 levels of consciousness: conscious, subconscious, and superconsciousness. You get to choose where you want to be, and life pays you based on where you go. So when you say you don't like such and such about your life, who's in charge of that? Not our spouses. Sorry, not our jobs, not our Social Security checks. It's about us. And she further says, the incorruptible, living body of God is the essential body from which your physical body emerges. Life pays us based on our consciousness. It really is that simple. But we've been programmed. We're born into this existence, some say, knowing the full realization of God. But the moment we're conceived, we start taking on fictitious information about us. Because inside the womb, we hear that around us and we start picking it up. We start filling our subconscious with all this fictitious information. And then as we get older, we give that fictitious information more and more power over us. And now we're in the rabbit hole, trying to figure out how to get out. How do we get out of the rabbit hole and back into a full, healthy relationship with God? Yeah. It doesn't mean you become the church lady. It just means that you become very aware of where you're spending your time in your mind. I stopped reading Stephen King because I realized I was filling my mind with all these horrendous acts of cruelty and scariness. And I went, I can't put him in my consciousness anymore. Great writer. Recommend him. But I don't want it. I don't want it in my consciousness. But I also don't want Hallmark. To me, those are the two extremes. Hallmark is just too unreal for me. See, so you have two different sides of the same fictitious information. Because we don't live happily ever after. We have this human experience that we go through. And life pays us what's in our consciousness. The consciousness is what we do day in and day out. So we teach you, pray and meditate, get still. It's important business. It's very important to do that because we get out of our subconscious mind where all this fictitious information sits. We're at choice point. When we choose not to spend time with God, now I understand that there are different ways to connect with God. I really do. Some it's a silent meditation, some it's a guided meditation, some it's walking in the woods. Whatever you do, whatever you need to do to connect with God, and you will see changes in your life. Your life will respond. A wise person told me so many years ago, and boy, it's just landed. Your mind doesn't know the difference between a joke and reality. So let's fill it with reality. Let's fill our minds consciously with things that we're willing to water, fertilize, and every once in a while have to pick the weeds out. Because we're going to plant it with good seed, with good data, and not the fictitious stuff. Life pays you what's in your consciousness. So what's sitting there? What's sitting there? So Amelia Shanklin says that the transformation experience can be had. Are you even looking for it? Because I know you know that others have had this transformative experience. It's very real. Sometimes it's subtle. It just all of a sudden over years you realize that, wow, I haven't thought of such and such in forever. And you're like, oh, thank God. Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. I had a friend who just recently passed away, very suddenly, member of our church. She will be missed. She will be missed. And I thought, wow. And she had such a tumultuous childhood. One of those people that just couldn't get a break, couldn't catch a break. And her soul longed for that peace. And she found it. She found it. And I prayed for her to be at peace. I did. I wanted her to not suffer anymore. And I knew she was hurting. Yeah. So there's a part of me that thinks that I shouldn't have prayed for peace. No. I did want that. I didn't want it to be this way. But that's not up to me. That was her consciousness. And I'm not blaming. It's just stating what is. Your life pays you based on your consciousness. We're going to be teaching a prosperity course in the next couple of months. And, prosperity is more than our pocketbooks, right? You want peace in your life. Are you peaceful? Are you promoting peace in all that you say, do, and feel? You see, because we all have shadow work. We all have deeply embedded in us items that just need clearing out, need to be diminished as much as possible. And so as we live this human experience, we experience things that we're not comfortable with, that bring us angst in our hearts. And there's where the work begins. And we go within and we say, what do I need to plant so that I can have more peace in my life? Because life really will turn around. It depends on how you do it, doesn't it? We all have work to do, minor, major. One person's minor is somebody else's major work. Whatever the work is for you, take the time to bring peace to that area of your life. Ask God for help. Get what you need. Bring peace into your life. Bring harmony into your body. And please, stop telling your body it doesn't work. That's a great beginning. Stop telling your body it doesn't work. It works. And so you bless every part of your body, just like Myrtle Fillmore did. She blessed and apologized for thinking bad thoughts and then filled that empty space now with a positive, clarifying moment for every organ in her body. Every vein, every nook and cranny was blessed. And her body responded. Your body can respond, but we must get rid of the negative. We must get rid of the fictitious news about us. We must get rid of the notion that I'm old and I can't blank. I can't do this because of this. We must stop that language. We have to do the best we can. And the thing is, you can't beat yourself up as you go through this process. And I loved where she says in the book, Amelia Shanklin, she reminds us that whatever you accomplish in this life form, you will not have to do again. I liked that. I was like, oh, thank God, because I know I'm working stuff out. I know you're working stuff out. And so that we'll get another opportunity. We'll work it out some more. And another reincarnation and work it out some more until we get it and we have a transformative experience that we no longer feel separated from God. We are no longer in fear. It's our quest. It's our mission to do that. How do you bring peace into your life so that life pays you with peace? How do you bring health into your life so that life pays you with health? How do you bring in wealth into your life so that life pays you with wealth? Which consciousness are you spending your time in? And I suggest, and Amelia Shanklin suggests, that we spend it more in the superconsciousness so that our dreams become our reality. Godspeed, and I love you, and I'll see you in the rooms. Bye now.